Hello everyone. Today I want to discuss interview experience. So the company name was the NIC, and that is the National Informatics Center. So NIC is a Indian government organization under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. That is the MITI. And the interview location was Delhi, and the interview date was the 24th July 2025, and this was the second round of the interview. So the first question they asked me, what is the SQL injection and how to prevent it. So SQL injection is a code injection technique that might destroy your database. SQL injection is placement of malicious code in SQL statements via web page input. So let us suppose you have one select query, okay, and you are using the student ID, and then the student enters the following in the input field, like student ID is 12345, and some outsider hits the 1 equal to 1. So this basically translate into, okay, so select star from student where student ID equal to 12345 or 1 equal to 1. Now this 1 equal to 1 will return all records for which this holds true. So basically all the students data is compromised. Now the malicious user can also delete the student records in a similar fashion. So how we can prevent SQL injection? So first of all, we can use the prepared statement. So prepared statement are the best way to prevent the SQL injection. They ensure that the user input is treated as data, not executable code. So example with the MySQL. So connect to the database. So dollar MySQL equal to new MySQL, and then you have to put four argument like the local host username, password, and the database name. Then prepare the query with the placeholders. So $stmt equal to $mysqli, and then use the prepare, and then inside that you have to write that select query, select star from users where username equal to question mark and password equal to question mark. Now bind the parameter s equal to string, then stmt bind param, and inside that ss username and password. Then set the value for the parameters. So dollar username equal to dollar underscore post username, dollar password equal to dollar underscore post password. So execute the query. So dollar $stmt execute, get the display results. Dollar result equal to dollar $stmt get underscore result. Then while dollar row equal to result fetch associative, and then echo dollar row username. So close the statement and connection. Dollar $stmt close, dollar MySQL close, and okay. So this is the using the MySQL. If we are using the PDO, this thing, so connect to the database, dollar PDO equal to new PDO. Then in the argument you have to provide the MySQL colon host equal to local host, then db name equal to db name, and username, and then password. So four parameter we have to write inside the new PDO. Then prepare the query with the placeholders. So stmt PDO, and then prepare. Then in the argument select star from user where username equal to colon username and password equal to colon password. So bind the parameters. So dollar $stmt bind param. So colon username, dollar username, PDO double colon param underscore str. Dollar statement bind param. Then in the argument colon password, dollar password, PDO double colon param str. Set values and execute. Dollar username equal to dollar underscore post, username, and dollar password equal to dollar underscore post password. Then dollar $stmt execute. Now display results while dollar row equal to dollar $stmt fetch pdo double colon fetch associate, then echo dollar row username. Second, we escape user input for the SQL injection. So this is a less secure. If you can't use prepared statement, make sure to escape user input to prevent the harmful character in your SQL query. So for example, dollar username equal to MySQL and the real escape string, then dollar post username, and dollar password equal to MySQL real escape string dollar post password. Then query equal to select star from user, where username equal to dollar username and password equal to dollar password. So example with the PDO. So dollar username equal to dollar PDO quote dollar post username, then dollar password equal to dollar PDO quote dollar post password, then dollar query equal to select star from user, where username equal to dollar username and password equal to dollar password. The third is the validate input. Make sure that your user input matches the expect format. Example, username should only contain letters and numbers. So if prag match is not, and then you have to provide the regular expression and dollar post username, then die invalid username. So summary for the SQL injection is use prepared statement MySQL or PDO for safety. If you can't use prepared statement, then escape user input, validate input to ensure it allows expected formats, and by following these steps you can greatly reduce the risk of the SQL injection in your PHP code. Third question they ask me, what is the get post in Postman? So I said get request. A get request is one of the most commonly used HTTP methods used to retrieve data from a server via an API, that is the application programming interface. So when a client like the Postman, a browser or a front-end application sends a get request to API endpoint, it asks the server to return specific resource or information such as user details, product list or settings. Get requests are read-only operation and do not modify any data on the server. Okay, so this is mainly used for the retrieving the data. Post request, a post request is used to send data to an API to create something new on the server. For example, you use post to add a new user, submit a form or upload a file. Third is a put request. A put request is used to update existing data on the server. It usually replaces the entire resources with the new data. Fourth is a patch request. A patch request is used to partially update existing data on the server. Unlike put, it only changes the specific fields you send. Fifth is a delete request. A delete request is used to remove data from the server. It deletes a specific resource like a user or record permanently. Okay, so what we are doing using the using the Postman, we have a server and we are changing the data, or we are retrieving the data, sending the data, updating the data or deleting the data on the server. Okay, so this is the main work of the Postman, or sometimes we use it as a testing purpose. Next question they ask me, fourth question, CSRF. So CSRF is a cross-site request forgery in CodeIgniter 4, or also we use it in Laravel. So CSRF is a security feature that prevents unauthorized requests from being executed on behalf of a user. In CodeIgniter 4, CSRF protection is enabled by default. So how to use CSRF in forms? So add CSRF underscore field method inside your form or function. So form action, then base URL user slash server user method post, then use CSRF underscore field, then input type text name placeholder, then button type submit, form close. How to use CSRF in Ajax? Include the CSRF token in Ajax request. So $.ajax URL, then base URL, then user slash save user, then type post, then data, name John Doe, and then CSRF underscore token and CSRF underscore hash. Success, function response, and console dot log response. Disabling CSRF for APIs in coordinator 4. To disable CSRF for API, update app slash config slash filters dot php. So public dollar filters equal to CSRF except API. So the summary for the CSRF is enabled by default. Use CSRF underscore field in form, include CSRF tokens in Ajax request, and you can disable CSRF for APIs in the filters.php. So the next question, that is the fifth question, they ask me, how do you handle session in PHP? So first of all, session stores data on the server side for the logged in users. So first of all, we have to start a session. So let us suppose you have one file login.php. So first of all, you have to start session underscore start. That will start the session. Then $session username, that is Chandra, and $underscore session logged in, that is true. Echo session variable are set. Now second file is dashboard.php. Again you have to start the session underscore start. Then check if a user is logged in. If is set session logged in and end $session logged in triple equal to true. Echo welcome $session username. Else please log in first. Third page is logout.php. So session underscore start, again we have to start the session, then session underscore unset, then session underscore destroy. Okay, so it will destroy all the session data and echo you have logged out. Okay, so this is the session in PHP. Next question, that is the sixth question, they ask me custom session in PHP. So in PHP, a custom session means overriding or customizing how session data is stored, handled, or started instead of relying on PHP's default file-based session mechanism. So why do use custom session? Store session in database, Redis or Memcached, implement encryption or custom expiration, share session across a multiple server. So basic custom session handler using a class. PHP allows you to define your own session handler by implementing the session handler interface or extending session handler. For example, storing session in MySQL database, class my session handler implements session handler interface, then private $PDO, then public function construct PDO $PDO, this PDO equal to $PDO. Now public function open, save path, session name, and return true. Then public function close, return true. Then public function read, then HTMT, this PDO prepare select data from session where ID, $HTMT execute ID, $row HTMT fetch PDO, and return row data. Another is the public function write, that is $ID data. HTMT, this PDO prepare replace into the session ID data timestamp value. Then return HTMT execute. Now public function destroy, $ID. HTMT equal to this PDO prepare delete from session where ID. Then return HTMT execute ID. Then public function gc max life site, $HTMT this PDO prepare delete from session where timestamp. So return HTMT execute time minus max lifetime. Okay. So the example $session username equal to Chandra. Then SQL table, create table session, ID varchar 128 and primary key, then data, then timestamp. So tips, use session underscore save handler before calling session starts. Use session write close to manually close session after the useful API. For security, you can hash or encrypt session data before the saving it. Another question they asked me, that is seventh. So the seventh question was, have you worked in Aadhaar virtual ID? Okay, just give me a second. That is the Aadhaar VID. So I said yes, I have worked with the Aadhaar virtual ID integration in the GEM portal. We used it primarily for user identity verification, especially during the vendor onboarding and e-sign workflows. So I'm familiar with the UIDI APIs, including how to request and validate the VID in a secure manner. We ensured compliance with the UIDI norms and used proper encryption and request signing in the implementation. The flow involved generating a VID from the user end and verifying it through the backend using the UID services and using the response to proceed with user authentication or document e-signing. Question number 8, they ask me what is the bid module and IFA module, because I have mentioned these two modules in my CV. So I said bid module in GEM. So used for the competitive procurement where buyer invite multiple sellers to submit their quotation, that is bids for the particular product or service. So key feature, type of bids. So normal bid open for all GEM registered sellers. RA, reverse auction, that is price reduction through competition. Then bid publishing, buyer post detailed requirements. Then technical evaluation, then upload document or compliance check. Then price comparison, so system auto evaluate lowest technically qualified bidder, or we also say it the financial evaluation. Then order placement, issue to L1 lowest vendor after the validation or evaluation. So used by government buyers, for example ministries, PSU or municipality for the bulk or specific requirements not available via direct purchase. Second module was the IFA module in GEM, internal financial approval, that is the full form of IFA. Ensures internal financial approval is taken before placing large or high value order through GEM. So key features, workflow based approval system within an organization. Buyer raises a purchase request which is routed to IFA, that is internal financial advisor, for approval. So IFA verifies budget availability, necessarily reasonableness, then compliance with the procurement rules. Then once approved, the buyer can proceed with the bid creation or direct purchase. So used by organization with the internal procurement policy that mandate financial approval before spending. So currently Ministry of Defense has this module, this IFA, okay, and they started it into the Ministry of Home Affairs also. They will start in the future. So currently it's with the Ministry of Defense. So how they work together, buyer creates a procurement request, it goes to the IFA for approval if required. Post approval, buyer initiate a bid or direct purchase. Then final purchase is made based on the outcome of the bid approval. Okay. So the next question they ask me, what is JSON? So JSON stands for the JavaScript Object Notation. It is a lightweight data format used to store and exchange data between a server and a client. So JSON is easy to human to read and write. Easy for human read and write, and it's also easy for the machine to parse the generation. So for example, name Chandra, age 30, and is developer true. So this is the JSON. So key point, it's based on the key value pairs commonly used in APIs and web services, supported by almost all programming languages including PHP, Java, Python, etc. You can use JSON encode or JSON decode in PHP to work with JSON. So these were the questions asked by the NIC, National Informatics Center, and the location of the company is Delhi, and interview date was the July 24, 2025. and this was the second round of the interview. So I will share more interview question with you. Till then, bye.